on this. I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice. Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Holy cow. Charlamagne goes off in this clip, guys. He completely shuts Whoopi Goldberg of The View down. And if you listen closely, it's almost like he's leaning into Trump's corner for a moment. Charlamagne goes full Maga rant here, guys, and it's honestly wild. His point: Democrats are playing this holier-than-thou, self-righteous game, pretending that they hold the moral high ground.
Let me ask you something that's going around right now. A lot of this conversation about President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, etc., as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now.
And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, please take a second, hit the like button for the video. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate that. But when Biden pardons Hunter, it exposes their hypocrisy. He's straight up calling out the Democrats for their hypocrisy. I thought I would never see this from Charlamagne, saying that they've been walking around like they're the moral police, acting all high and mighty with their "no one is above the law" mantra. But what happens when it's Biden's son? Hunter Biden gets in trouble. Well, what happens then? Oh, well, suddenly, of course, it's pardon time. And we're all just supposed to pretend that Biden didn't flat out lie about never doing this? Yeah. So Charlamagne, he's not having it. In fact, Charlamagne's main gripe is that Democrats have been running around and yelling no one is above the law, especially when targeting Trump.
But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, nobody's above the law, I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second. Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. He don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're mad.
No.
But now they're backpedaling. That's right, guys. The backlash is overwhelming. And now they're doing the exact opposite. So Biden said that he would respect the justice system, that he would go ahead and let it play out. But then, bam, all of a sudden, Hunter Biden gets a pardon. So Charlamagne, he's not buying it. The change of heart excuse, he's not buying none of that. He calls it what it is, unnecessary pandering. And he even went on and pointed out that Biden didn't even need to promise that he wouldn't pardon Hunter. He didn't have to do that. But since he did, he pretty much opened his mouth and stuck his foot in there. And he could have pretty much just dodged the question entirely. But no, he had to climb up on the soapbox and make himself look holier than thou.
If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice. Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? He's wrong.
Nobody
he lied.
Criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne.
I'm criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more, but you're missing my question.
Okay.
My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist.
And then, well, surprise, he gets back on his word. He goes back on his word. And this is the hypocrisy that we've been seeing so much from the left, leaving Democrats ultimately scrambling, trying to justify this. So Charlamagne, he's basically saying, hey, this is why y'all are losing credibility. Wow, right? And so when Whoopi Goldberg tries to defend Biden, suggesting that he might have just kind of had enough of the nonsense and decided to act, Charlamagne shoots back again at Whoopi Goldberg and shuts her down. He says, no, that's their fault. He blasts Democrats for setting themselves up on this freaking pedestal, creating expectations that they can't meet, and then ultimately acting surprised that they get dragged down for their contradictions. So when Whoopi Goldberg then tries to push back, basically saying, hey, maybe Biden just got fed up, Charlamagne doubles down. He says, nah, this is all on y'all. You built this moral high ground, and now it's crumbling beneath you. I mean, he even goes so far as to say, calling out Democrats for playing team sports with politics, saying that they've turned their party into like a bunch of blind cheerleaders who refuse to admit when their side is wrong. And so, yeah, he's actually throwing some shade at Republicans too, though. I mean, that part I'm not really surprised, but I mean, you could tell his real frustration is squarely aimed at the left.
And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Ain't nobody more delusional than me, right? Okay? I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl every year, but I'm not delusional. Well, no, that is delusional. But when it comes... But when it comes to political parties, if you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but
I think that's the best way to go.
But that's not a monolith. We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are wrong.
So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't. And can I just point this out to you? The president has a part in power, right?
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg. I would never. I said that. I just think that.
Think about it. Think about it this way. Just very quickly, can you reframe it in this way and think about it maybe in this way? The president has the ultimate part in power. Every president has done this, right? Yeah. And so what people are saying is that Joe Biden is now a liar, as opposed to Joe Biden is someone who now knows that the person that is going to be in the White House is on a revenge tour and his son is on an enemies list. And so he is using his rightful power, his rightful political power, to pardon his son. Now, is that a lie, or is that perhaps being pragmatic, having a change of opinion, as opposed to the president-elect who has lied almost 40,000 times during his first term?
Well, I can't say what it is because I'm not in
the moral high ground. Like, what's the faux outrage?
Neither one of them have the moral high ground. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. But when you are a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican, you refuse to be objective about the other party. Like, it's like we're watching them do something wrong, but we're making excuses for it. We watch Republicans do things wrong and they make excuses for it. Why can't we just all be objective and call it what it is?
Because it's not balanced. It's not the same. No, wait, there's more. We gotta go. We're coming right back. We'll be right back.
I swear, guys, has Charlamagne turned full-blown Maga? I mean, and here's the kicker, guys. So Charlamagne even takes a swipe at the tribalism in politics, saying that both parties are guilty of blind loyalty. But let's not miss the subtle undertone here. He's essentially pointing out that while Democrats love to accuse Trump of bending the rules, Biden's doing the exact same thing and expecting a pass. He's saying, hey, why can't we all just kind of, call it out when our team screws up? But by drawing that comparison and calling out the double standard, Charlamagne almost sounds like he's becoming semi-MAGA with Trump's position whether he realizes it or not. I mean, it's kind of like he's saying, well, at least Trump's people own it, whereas Democrats act like saints when, while they're playing dirty. So basically, this whole rant from Charlamagne, it really does highlight a frustration point with the hypocrisy, the constant pearl clutching over President Biden, and the refusal of pretty much anybody, Democrat or Republican, to admit when their side messes up. But in calling it out, Charlamagne inadvertently boosts Trump's arguments that Democrats are no better, so stop pretending that they are. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, appreciate you guys for definitely hitting the like button for the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Check out this video that's coming up here next. Check out our playlist down below. And also let me know what you guys think about this, this situation here. Is Charlamagne full-blown MAGA, or did he just simply go off script temporarily? Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. Well, guys, the great wealth transfer is in full effect. Our freedoms are being stolen, guys. Credit card companies are out to get us. And if you don't understand the game, well, you end up getting played by the game. Now, if you're anything like me, guys, you were probably out of shape, maybe in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and just feeling like the system is just completely taking advantage of you. I remember for a long time, I could rarely ever get any time to spend with my wife. And through trial and error and through a lot of pain, I figured out how to gain freedom and also lose a lot of weight and actually get in shape. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a game changer. To no longer be living paycheck to paycheck, figuring out how to get the credit cards to pay me, the power of a strong credit score. I pay thousands of dollars less per year for the same house as my neighbor, just because my credit is better than his is. And this is not to brag. I mean, but this is the truth. The banks are literally taking advantage of the poor. It's like the people who can least afford it, they're charging the poor what is like unofficially called a poor tax, or a tax on the poor. I mean, I'm now at a point where, like, number one, I don't pay for credit cards. In fact, credit card companies pay me to use their cards. And I figured out how to build a lifestyle that is just ultimately very, very healthy. I lost a tremendous amount of weight and I put on a lot of muscle. But when I was struggling, I wish I knew people who knew these things. So anyway, I decided to create a community of like-minded people who are also interested, just like me, in living better. So if you guys want to join my community, it's called the Liberty Pursuit Network. It is brand new. Come on over. I'd love to have you guys and join like-minded people. Be positively motivated by others who are also on the same pursuit. So I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can join me over on the Life Pursuit Network in the description down below this video. So check it out, guys, and let's not be a victim of this great wealth transfer that is taking place right now.